Hey guys, what's up? It's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel, Real Talk Recovery, where we talk about recovery from addiction and I share my life with you. I'm a recovering addict and my sobriety date is July 13th of 2015. So yesterday I made a video all about Suboxone tapers and making sure that you go slowly. And at the end of that video, I talked about wanting to talk about the idea that a person must not be serious enough about their sobriety. That's why they're utilizing maintenance. But before I get into that video, I want you guys to do me a solid and give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and click the notification bell. That way you guys will be made aware of when I go live. For those of y'all that are new to the channel, I go live Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time and on Sundays at 7 with my patrons. So if you're somebody who wants to have extra support, be in our Facebook group and do all the things with us, you can join Patreon for $2 and I will link that down below. But besides that, I also have started a private Suboxone taper room. And what that is it's like a Zoom. You can join on the call and you can call me and we can talk on like a video about Suboxone tapering together. So if any of you guys need the extra support, all you have to do is join our Real Talk Recovery Facebook group and then you can join the Suboxone taper room. So I'm going to see how it goes. We'll see how it works out. If it works out good, then we'll keep it. If it doesn't, then I'll change it up to something else. But for right now, I thought that would be cool. And of course, you guys can message me on Messenger or on Instagram, whatever you need. So let's get into this. So, okay, when I first started sharing my story about being on Suboxone, it was in 2016. So I had already been on it for a year. I got on Suboxone in July or August of 2015, and I wasn't able to start telling my story until I had a year sober because my sponsor was like, girl, you ain't got nothing to share with nobody right now. You need to work your steps. And so I listened to my sponsor and I waited until I had a year and then I started sharing my story at a year sober. Now, once I started sharing my story and sharing that I was on Suboxone, I was met with a lot of criticism and judgment. And the thing that surprised me the most is it was criticism and judgment from other addicts and alcoholics. It wasn't criticism and judgment from people that don't understand the disease of addiction. It was from people that do. And that's what made it that much harder for me to deal with. At that time, I was so angry. It made me very mad, you guys, because this was the first time in 10, 12 years that I had been able to stay sober, and I was so happy and I was so proud of myself. For those of y'all that don't know my history, I have been to 5 rehabs. I've been to prison once, and I was in and out of halfway houses all the time because I would get sober for a couple months and then I would relapse. And so when I got on Suboxone, you guys, it saved my life. It saved my life. And Suboxone didn't do it all for me. I got busy. I got busy working the steps. I got busy going to meetings. I got busy in therapy. I did the work. I went out and found people to help me, right? I didn't just sit here at my house eating Suboxones, waiting to have a better life. I went out and I actively sought that shit, and I found help and I did the work. But one of the things that I had always gotten told was that if I was really serious about staying sober, I wouldn't need to be on Suboxone. If I was willing to take suggestions, then I wouldn't need to be on Suboxone, and that I'm just holding on to it because that's my addict thinking. My addict mind wants me to be on it longer because it's somehow making me feel good or something, which, just so you guys know, after you're on Suboxone for over a month, you're no longer getting any kind of feeling from it. And if you are, you're abusing it. If you are, you're snorting it or doing something that you're not supposed to be doing with it. And only you know what you're doing, but you know you're doing it, okay? So it reaches a ceiling effect. So there's no euphoria produced by the medication. If you're taking it every day as prescribed, There's no euphoria produced. So when people say that to me, I must not be serious, I must not be willing, I must not have gone to enough meetings, I must not have prayed enough, I must not have worked the steps thoroughly enough, that's why I'm not able to stay sober. That infuriates me. And let me just tell you guys, I used to believe that bullshit. I used to think that way also. And that's why I want to share with you guys how much I have changed over the last 5 years, because it's important for y'all to understand. I used to believe that way also. I was indoctrinated into this one way of thinking through a 12-step fellowship. I was brainwashed into thinking that if I went to enough meetings, I prayed hard enough, I called my sponsor, I did my 4th step and wrote down everything that and didn't leave anything out, that I wouldn't get high and I would stay sober. I believe that if you do these things, they will help you, but I do not believe that they are going to save you from relapsing. I don't believe that any of us are promised to be saved. I believe that the way that we avoid relapse is by actively working on our sobriety every single day. I believe that the way I stay sober is by, I have a habit, okay, a ritual of things that I do that help me stay on the right path. But there's even times where I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing and I still have a bad day and a thought comes to my mind. And the thing that has saved me time and time again when those thoughts come into my mind is reaching out and telling somebody else the thought, is not keeping it a secret, because when I keep that a secret, I feed into that secret and I'm like, well, I could go out and get a Xanax and nobody would really ever know, and then I could take it and I just keep feeding it, and then the next thing you know, I'll be out there getting the Xanax and getting fucked up. What I'm trying to say is the disease of addiction is a disease. It's a mental disorder. It centers in our mind, okay? The only way that we can stay from, being in our addiction and relapsing and getting high is by doing things that help us to stay sober. But that doesn't mean that I'm promised to stay sober. You know what I'm saying? Do y'all understand what I'm trying to convey? I'm trying to convey that the idea that you can just pray your addiction away or work the steps and your addiction will go away is outlandish, and it's dangerous to say to people, because then you have people who are trying to do these 12-step fellowships who actually believe that maybe they're not doing it right. Oh, I must be doing it wrong. I must not be working the steps to the best of my ability. I know this because I felt like that. It was a fear-based, that's what it is. It's a fear-based approach, and I don't want you guys to be, I don't want you to be afraid. I want you to know that you can take control of your recovery, and as long as you are actively working towards changing your life, doing the next right thing, sharing how you're feeling, journaling, meditating, exercising, doing healthy things that help you change your mindset. Therapy is so important, you guys. Talking with other addicts and alcoholics is so important. I don't want you guys to be like, well, if I'm not doing all these things, then I must not be doing it perfect enough and I'm just going to relapse, so I might as well go out and relapse now. That's what I'm trying to convey across to you guys, is that it's like, I've seen some people who have been sober for 25 years, you guys, who were at a meeting every single day of their life and they relapsed and died. Okay? I've seen people they had 10 years, 5 years, 3 years, 1 year, 6 months, and they were so active in their sobriety and they went out and they relapsed and they got high. We don't ever know what is going on in somebody's mind. And that's where the relapse starts, up here in our minds. So the way that I avoid relapse is not letting this take a control of me, not letting this be a place where I keep secrets. I tell it all. When I'm feeling froggy, I talk about it. I got money in the bank saved up, you guys, and that money is safe in the savings account. But back in the day, I couldn't have that money in that even near me, because it would be a trigger for me to want to go get it and use it and spend it on drugs. I guess what I'm trying to tell you guys is that you can be willing, you can want to stay sober with all your might, you can do everything, and you can still relapse. That's what I'm trying to say. And I'm not trying to scare anybody. I don't want you guys to feel like I ever think that I have this thing, because I don't. I don't have it. I'm not perfect. I could make a mistake. I could go out and do something stupid. I am not immune to relapse. Nobody is. Do these programs like 12 Steps and Smart Recovery and Mara and Refuge, all those programs can help you, but ultimately it comes down to the decisions that you're making. Are you making good decisions that are going to set you up for success in the future, or are you making shady decisions that are going to cause you to fail? Every action has a reaction. Everything has a consequence. So are you building a foundation with steady, good, solid bricks, so that way when your foundation is completely built and a tornado comes through and something bad happens in your life, that you're ready to weather the storm? Or is your house just going to blow over? That's what I'm trying to convey to you guys. Do you have support? Do you have friends that you can talk to that are sober? Do you have meetings that you go to, like here on Fridays, come hang out with us? Are you actively working on being a better person and changing the way you think? Or are you just sitting at home on your medication expecting to be able to stay sober? That's just not how it works. And I really, really hope that you guys are understanding what I'm trying to share here, that it has nothing to do with how willing you are. It has nothing to do with how serious you are. It has everything to do with the fact that the disease of addiction is a disease. It has everything to do with changing this up here. This is where it all starts, in our minds. We have to focus on our mental health and being healthy in our minds, because when we make bad decisions or when we're hurting up here, that's what can cause us to fall. So I hope that I got across what I was trying to get across. I don't know if I did or not, but I love you guys, and I don't believe that BS that you're not willing enough to stay sober because you're on maintenance medication. That's bull crap. And I just wanted to tell you guys that. All right, love y'all. See you tonight at 7.